Hey guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do, I should say, attempt to do a review on Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb. Now, this book is part of a larger series called The Realm of the Elderlings series. And for those of you who haven't been here very long, I talk about this series a lot. It's one of my all-time favorite series, but basically what this book is about is, first and foremost, you need to know it's the 14th book in the series, but it is the first book of the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. Now, what happens in this book, briefly, without spoiling you extensively, is our protagonist, we're back Fitz and the Fool and their shenanigans, because if you guys are even somewhat familiar with the series, different trilogies follow different people, or different series different sub-series follow different parts of the world. So far there have been 2 trilogies following Fitz and the Fool, and I'm just going to tell you right now, do not start with the book that I am talking about today. You will be incredibly lost. You will understand a thing that's going on. And this book is, as I said, the 14th in the series, and we're back with Fitz. And he is in his, I think he's in his 40s at the beginning of the book. But this book spans, I think, about a decade, maybe a little bit more than a decade. Don't quote me on that. But I think he's in his mid-40s somewhere. And he is living in Withywood, which is part of the Six Duchies. It's close to Buckkeep, which is the castle where Fitz grew up. And so he's in Withywood now, which we kind of got to see how he got there at the end of the Tawny trilogy. And he's living with his family, and he's pining. He's pining for his childhood friend, also known as the Fool. You wonder why I put quotes around it. If you guys have read this series at all, you'll realize how deep the relationship is between Fitz and the Fool, and understand that why I say childhood friend, I just mean that in a very, very light way. That's how Fitz and most characters in the book refer to him. Anyway, he's pining because he hasn't heard from him in like 20 years. It's been a long time. But he's just chilling out with his family, and it's a very, very different book from the other ones. There is very little action, very little happens in terms of plot, but then a lot happens in terms of plot at the same time. It's just very different from the others, as there's no big adventure, no big journey, but it explores relationships, Fitz's relationships, as he's grown older, and we meet several new characters and just kind of see how Fitz interacts with them and builds relationships with people now that he's older. I will say one thing, because it's unavoidable. I have to talk about this thing that happens because it's so important to the book, and that is we get a new POV. Now, for those of you who've read Fitz's books before, you know that they are told in first person by Fitz. Well, it looks like in this trilogy, we're going to not only have Fitz's POV, but another character's POV as well. And it's one that you don't meet until this trilogy. I won't say who the character is or what her relationship is to anybody, but she becomes very much an important character. And I'm not sure how I feel about this character at this point in time. There are times when I really, really like them. but then there are times when I find them incredibly annoying. But the thing about Robin Hobb is she's great at that. She'll introduce a new character, and at least for me in my experience, I don't typically like them at first. I find them irritating and annoying. But then as the trilogy goes on, I tend to like them a lot more than I originally did. I'm still sitting on those emotions and those events that happened at the very end of Fool's Assassin, because just a lot happened in the last, 4 or 5 chapters of the book, and it was just wild. I'm just gonna say that it was wild and heartbreaking. Yeah. I didn't think it was possible for there to be more emotional things than happened in Fool's Fate. I didn't think it was possible. I mean, despite having a friend tell me, Katie, it's worse. Just don't think I thought that was possible, or that it was going to happen in this kind of a way. But she was right. My friend was right by telling me that on some level or another, it was more emotional than Fool's Fate. And that's crazy, because I sobbed for a long time during Fool's Fate. And I think I cried more during Fool's Assassin than I did for the majority of the other books in this world. And that's saying something, because there is a lot that happens in all these books. But I had a lot of emotions about a lot of different things. I mean, maybe it's because I've been away from Fitz and his world, his part of the world, for a year, and I had to sit on that. And then I've talked about him and the characters and different aspects of the world with other people I know that have read this series, and it just made me, realize different things about the world, and just looking back on his life and what he's gone through, and just how things have affected him, not only at the time that the event happened, but even now, years later. It's just so incredibly powerful and well written, and Hobb is just a master, and I am forever changed by these books in many, many ways. But I don't know, it was just, as I said, it was a lot. The series is going to be interesting, and I think it'll be different than some of the other ones we've seen in the past. I don't think I'm going to start Fool's Quest for a couple of days, maybe not until next week. I need to sit with my feelings and with the revelations and the things that happened at the end in particular before I can delve into that, because it was a lot to process. And I know, talking to at least one other person, different friend, they had to sit on this ending for a little bit too, to see how they felt about it, because it's so different than any of the other books, and it leaves you reeling, because some things that you thought you believed or thought you understood might not be the case. It's very jarring and very difficult to grasp, I think. And I mean, I'm probably going to talk to another friend about it within the next couple of days. I have a lot to talk to her about, I think, just to see if I can wrap my head around some of the things that I'm feeling or trying to grasp and understand. I don't know. I haven't really been able to stop thinking about it since I finished the book. Just so much happened. Things that were just incredibly unexpected in some ways happened. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm at a loss of what to exactly say or how I'm really, really feeling about something. I enjoyed the book, and I think it'll be really wild to see how the trilogy finishes, because I've only got 2 books left in this world, and that is wild too. But because it was such an introspective book and it wasn't focused on anything besides just Fitz enjoying his life for once, it was just an adjustment. I liked it a lot. But as I said, it was also very emotional. And I realized a lot of things about things that I hadn't thought about or seen before. But Fitz really grew in this book for me. I mean, does he still have his dumb little flaws and make questionable decisions? Oh, you bet. It wouldn't be a Fitz book if it wasn't. Really interesting to see how Fitz grew as a character, because he definitely has. Some ways in really great ways, in others maybe not so much. But he's so real. He's so human. It's not like in other fantasy books where your protagonist, he's just good at everything and, he's just always succeeds. That's not the case with Fitz. With Fitz's story and all of Robin Hobb's characters, they're so real and they're so human. They make mistakes. I really, really enjoyed it. It was different. It was heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. And once I sort through my feelings and my thoughts, I'm super excited to continue on with Fool's Quest. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today. So if you've read this book or are planning on reading this book or have read any other Robin Hobb books, seriously, talk to me. Whether you're in the middle of one now or you're getting ready to start another one, or if you want to just start with the series, come talk to me on social media, on Twitter, or in the comments below, because I'd love to talk to more Hobblings. Please come talk to me. So, as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads and other social media upon request if you'd like. But both my Twitter and my Goodreads are linked in the description box below. And I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye.